Let me recognize the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Arrington, to inquire.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was going to refrain from bragging about West Texas, but I had so many of my colleagues talk about their district. So let me just say, Mr. Lighthizer, West Texas is the food, fuel, and fiber capital of the United States of America. And we feed and clothe the American people. We fuel the American economy. That's fossil and renewable. And we provide energy independence and food security. And I'm proud to represent our hardworking farmers and ranchers, and they're concerned. And these are desperate times. And I know you know this, Mr. Ambassador, but, and by the way, good work, great work, hard work. And I know this is a long-term proposition. It's a long-term game changer. And nobody knows about the inequities and the unfairness and the way the Chinese, their bad actions and unfair trade practices better than our farmers out in West Texas, especially our cotton farmers. So keep up the great work. But times are tough, and I just want to remind you that over the last few years, we've seen a decline of over 50% in farm income in the United States, ag industry. That's the steepest decline since the Great Depression, 40% roughly increase in bankruptcies, and I'm sad to report that farmers have the highest suicide rate in the United States of any profession, 5 times the national average. Times are desperate. And our farmers, in spite of that, and our ranchers, they stand with this president 100%. They'll stand with him right up until they have to sell the family farm. But they love him and they appreciate him, and they know that he's fighting for them. Let me talk about cotton, because when you fly into Lubbock International Airport, you're going to land in the largest cotton patch in the world. We produce about 1/3 of the world's cotton that we export out of the United States. But we've lost 50% of our market share in China, and it is an awfully big market. We want reforms, Mr. Ambassador. We want the equitable, reciprocal, and enforceable structural reforms that you talk about. We're Americans first. We want that for every American job creator, manufacturer, producer. But you've mentioned this, the purchase commitment, and we've heard a lot about soybeans, a little bit about pork. Talk about cotton, because we have 17-state cotton belt, $21 billion industry. We produce the most and the best cotton in the world, but that Chinese market, as a result of that 50% loss, our guys are suffering. Can you talk about cotton being mentioned in your purchase commitment discussions with the Chinese, please?
So, first of all, thank you for that, particularly for the comments about the support for the president. As you know well, you can't talk to the president about trade without having the farmers come up, right? It's like the first thing he talks about is usually the last thing he talks about, too. So and Secretary Perdue, as you know, I don't know all the secretaries of agriculture, but I can't imagine there's ever a better one. He's just full on everything for agriculture, and we happen to be in the middle of a long-term trend that has been very bad. So all of that is appreciated, and the president keeps us very focused on it, as does the secretary. In terms of the purchase commitment, absolutely cotton is a factor. It's something that China needs, has traditionally bought, and it's easy to buy more of. So it is something we understand that these people have suffered, and it's something that's in the list of things that we expect them to have substantial increases on, and it's something that the president keeps us very focused on. And I have specifically gone through with the president the various items, so I'm talking to the president of the United States about these numbers for these ag. And by the way, it's these big commodities, it's hazelnuts. There's a lot of things that I've had members talk to me about, and I keep track of it, and I go through it dutifully.
You're doing a great job. Thank you.